heartbreak, despair, agony, angst, everything that we're feeling here in Ireland at the moment. Joseph Duffy has pulled out of his main event with Dustin Poirier this weekend. And first things first, before we get to anything, before we say how upset we are, health is paramount. In this instance, it was a head injury. The most speedy recovery to Joseph Duffy's. Him fighting on something like this, saying nothing was up, would have been the stupidest thing he could have done. So now that we have that out of the way, instant reaction. We're joined by Jeremy Botter from Bleacher Report. Jeremy, I don't want you to get this into your head. Botter equals numbers. This is going to be a big hit episode anyway. But
because I'm on it.
Okay, we'll go with that. I feel
when you said agony, dude. When you said agony and all this stuff, I thought you were talking about me having to do this with Sean. So like I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
No, unfortunately not. I have to say, my Twitter, my Facebook is full of both sad Irish fans and ecstatic Irish fans because Paddy Houlihan has got the main event. But I feel relatively bad for you, Jeremy. 4,000 words written on a Joseph Duffy piece that people aren't going to see now.
Well, eventually they will, but like, I mean, I'm going to have to rework a lot of it. But, you know, I mean, that's no big deal. It was cool. I always like getting to know people that I don't know anything about, and so getting to write about Joe Duffy this time was pretty cool. I would actually like to thank Sean, because Sean is actually the one person who has read it outside of my editors, and he helped me a lot with actually not making any stupid mistakes about Ireland, which I was well on my way to doing. Sean's kind of my Irish fact checker for that. So I appreciate him.
I told you it was lies anyway. I told you
you probably totally fucked me. I know you did. I know you did.
Jeremy, Dublin's part of the UK, didn't you know that?
Have you seen my new Reebok shirt? It's really cool.
Yeah, did you mention about how he grew up in the northwesterly part of Ireland, Donegal, which is a peninsula, effectively?
Yeah, have you seen my shirt? Did you guys get this shirt? Like, it's the country of Ireland, apparently, which has been fucking completely reformed. What an amazing day this has been for Ireland, right?
What a day. Great.
Did you get one?
No, dude, actually, here's the thing. I tried. I actually put it in my little shopping bag, they call it, because Reebok is too good to have a shopping cart. I put it in the shopping cart, and I went to check out, and then it said it wasn't available. And I was like, because that's a collector's item, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Lifestyle Sports tomorrow morning because they're stocking some Reebok gear, and hopefully they haven't been pulled yet. Bit of history.
That'd be amazing, yeah. That was pretty incredible. I wake up to all of that, and John Kavanaugh threatening to pull out his one-day-old Reebok sponsorship from SBG. Like, it was a pretty amazing start to the day, and I guess it's fitting that, you know, just 3 days before the fight, Joe Duffy is out. I mean, it seems fitting given how horrible today was.
There is a couple of points though here now. Since then, once I put it up, Norman Park tweeted me. He said he was offered the fight with Poirier, and obviously since it hasn't been announced that he's fighting Poirier, we can assume that Dustin turned the fight down.
Yeah, Dustin Poirier is not going to fight anybody, actually, according to his management. He's not going to accept a replacement. I can't say for sure, but I don't think even if they offered him Conor McGregor, he would take it at this point. You know, I mean, maybe he would. Who knows?
McGregor's come out and said he wants to fight Poirier. Did you see that? He just tweeted.
I did see that. It's incredible.
Yeah. Jesus.
Here I am, the biggest star in the UFC, and I'll fight on Fight Pass. Okay.
On 2 days' notice.
On 2 days' notice, right?
At a weight above. Yeah.
He's a crazy man. He's a crazy man.
What a man. But, like, I suppose the first reaction to all of this is, like, disappointment, really, more than anything. Like, you have to feel for Joseph Duffy as well. He's disappointed. He, like, this is the biggest fight of his career, and John Morgan just tweeted there actually that it was an injury sustained last week in TriStar when he was, I don't know, was it sparring, or, well, he must have been sparring but he got KO'd.
Yeah, Saturday.
So, yeah, he's been looked at and stuff. Today he was what's the opposite of the all clear? I don't know, what would it be called?
The opposite of that.
The opposite of that. Whatever it is, yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
He's out.
You know what's funny is Sean, he didn't actually so I guess somebody in his corner let slip to the UFC, I think it was on Monday, that he had been KO'd, and so the UFC then sent him protesting. So really the UFC has to be commended for what they've done here.
Right.
as much as it sucks fucking hairy balls, like, to not be able to see this fight. Like, I was looking forward to this fight a lot. Now we're not going to get to see it until probably UFC 195. It'll be you guys' luck that fight will end up in Vegas, because that's what always happens, right?
It's just like this card was bad enough. Like when like this fight was on it, and when Stipe versus Rothwell was on it, there was still people complaining about how it was a bad card, and now literally the only two world-class fights are gone off it. God,
yeah, I don't even know that I have ever seen Louis smoke a fight. I couldn't tell you. I could not think about a lineup.
He fought Neil Seary on the last McGregor card. That was a good fight.
Okay, maybe I did see him fight, but I couldn't pick him out of a lineup, to be honest with you. But look, I mean, hey, am I wrong in saying? I mean, I've had a lot of people say that Paddy was the real main event, regardless. Is that true, or is that just something that you say because he's one of your own?
Andrew, what do you think?
I think the fact that he's still in Dublin, he refuses to move out of Tala. He is looking to go down and is on the process of going down in a folklore sort of position, showing that to all the people in his estate that if he came from this place, you can come from this place. And I do think that he was, without wanting to coin the phrase or use the phrase, the people's main event. I do think the Dublin crowd, the SBG guys that would have all been there, hopefully it would have been the end of a great night for them, with the other guys fighting and winning beforehand, and then Paddy to finish it off. Now it's in an even better scenario. Now it's like Dublin last year, Conor capping off the end of a great night for SBG Ireland. So I do think that people are actually going to be happy, that it's going to be good, great atmosphere. I can't help but think that this is a massive blow. Like, there's going to be refunds. I see it already, people asking about it, inquiring about it. I do think the UFC may take a hit on the attendance, but I wouldn't be surprised if UFC ended up giving away tickets for free, if Dana White did something on Friday or did something on Saturday and give away a load of tickets, because they would be able to fill the venue, no problem, if the UFC had to comp maybe 500 tickets or 600 tickets.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do that anyway. They do that even in Vegas, like when Demetrius Johnson fights and only 1,500 people buy a ticket. Like, I mean, they end up giving away thousands of tickets. The interesting thing to me here, I mean, it's a real, like you mentioned, it's a real opportunity for Paddy Holohan. I mean, look, Demetrius Johnson doesn't have any contenders, so if he goes in there and puts on a memorable performance and like gets a finish and the whole place is going crazy, you could see that guy jump into a title fight with Demetrius Johnson, although I think he would get murdered, but I mean, you could actually see that happen. It's a big opportunity for him.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm finding it hard to sugarcoat it now at the moment. Like, it's a good fight.
Wait, first of all, Sean, this is all your fault.
It's all my fault.
Like, if we can just look at the facts here, your first UFC event that you're attending in person.
No, I was
covering in person. So first of all, there's that, and then your preview that came out today, which always curses people.
It does, in fairness, but at least, look, people got to read it before the fight was pulled anyway, so that's good for me.
I haven't read it. I'm not going to read it.
I haven't read it either.
I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read it. I'm sure it's a pile of crap is what it is. No, I'm not going to read it.
Why would you read it now? Like, it's Dustin Poirier against Joseph Duffy. That's the only fight. But the rest of my fights are coming out tomorrow. Read that one. It's fine.
Just save your preview. Save your preview until the action.
I have a Rothwell Stipe preview as well saved, so whenever that happens, I have an all break for that.
Just use it again.
Put them both in the same card.
If we look at it from the best possible point of view here, what is the best outcome here? Does Joseph Duffy and Dustin Poirier get rescheduled for a further event? Is Joseph Duffy given a matchup maybe on a sooner card? If there's an injury pull-out maybe in UFC 193, does Duffy slot in there? Is the Duffy-Poirier fight integral to these guys, the next step in their careers?
I don't think it's integral to their careers, but I do think it is a fight that they need to probably hold off and try to book next. I think UFC, Dustin Poirier said he'd like to do UFC 195, and I believe now Duffy's come out and said the same thing. So, UFC 195, I think you might see that added, unless the UFC has another place. But, I mean, I thought it was the perfect fight for Joe Duffy at this point in his career. I think the UFC really wants to make Conor McGregor and Joe Duffy because that's the kind of storyline where they don't have to lie and bullshit to sell. Like, they can just – it's a true thing, kind of like the Faber and Dillashaw thing, so they can just put it out there. I think they're going to want to do that. They want to keep building up Joe Duffy. Dustin Poirier is a beatable opponent for Joe Duffy. He's a tough guy. He's got a name. I think they rebook the fight.
Yeah, they probably will rebook it. Like, there's a lot of anger towards Poirier and Duffy. Like, you can't really blame Duffy. Like, he got injured. Your health must come first. In fairness, like, it was the right decision. Fair play to UFC, as you mentioned there, Jeremy, earlier on. Like, if they found out about it, there's a lot of, like, they talk about the Vitor test and stuff, the Josh Gross piece. Like, if they knew about it, they should have pulled him and stuff. At least now maybe we can take this as something they heard about it and they pulled him. So that's a good thing. The fighter health is the first thought in their mind. So that's a good thing. You can't, like, Joe Duffy was right to tell them, or whoever told them was right to tell them, and they were right to pull him out. So we can't say too many bad things about that. For Poirier, like, I think he's right as well. Like, back when John Jones pulled out of that, who were they giving him jail? Was it when Dan Henderson got injured? He refused to fight.
He refused to fight. Sport killer.
Similar enough situation, maybe a bit different. Like, not as much on the line and stuff, but they offered him Norman Park. Norman says anyway, and like, he could have taken that fight. I think Norman's an easier fight than Duffy. Like, a lot different style and stuff. But I'm like, if Poirier had taken that fight, I probably would have favoured him to win. But look, it's his career. He has to do what's best for him, I suppose.
Yeah, I've got to actually, 1 second, I've actually got a tweet. Sean Sheehan says John Jones and Dustin Poirier are the same thing. I got to tweet that fast. That's amazing. Yeah,
they're both Americans. They're all the
Americans. The best, we did speak about it, but I think we got sidetracked into making fun of Sean. This happened at sparring in TriStar within the last week. Is it a complete accident? You always hear about, I hear it myself, guys in Irish MMA, they have certain people that they enjoy training with. And this is just a general question thrown out there. If you have such a well-known gym as TriStar, where you had, say, Tarek Safadine, you had Paul Redmond over there recently, you have a lot of guys from Europe coming over. If you have guys coming in onto your pro team that maybe aren't in time with, aren't used to, aren't accustomed to the guys that are sparring there, surely accidents like this can happen. That's a complete blanket statement out there, but it just seems like the volume of fighters that are in and out of the gym. I know myself, there's certain guys in Irish MMA that only like sparring with certain guys in gyms because they know they're game well. This has to be a factor.
Yeah, I'm going to actually start a rumor. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to start a rumor right now while we're here. You know who was in the gym on Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Sage. Oh, my God. I was going to say that. He did it.
So what if he's the guy who did it? I'm not saying he did, but what if?
Do you know what I think it is? I think it was Rory MacDonald, the Irish killer. He took out McGregor from before his last fight, nearly taking out Duffy now. Like,
that's even better.
He's in Ireland, like, just could be
the Red King.
The Canadian psychos going around Dublin. Beware.
The Red King strikes again, dude.
He could be Flash KO on fools around O'Connell Street tonight.
That's a good one. That's actually even better than... Actually, no, Sage Northcutt is still better. Can you imagine first day in the gym and he's in there and he's all being Sage, just super excited, and he accidentally KOs Joe Duffy?
Imagine if Duffy did trying to do a backflip or a front flip or whatever it was.
Maybe, because he was teaching him. He was teaching him that weird fucking Tekken thing that he does. Like, maybe that's what happened. Maybe he fell on his head.
Fucking hell.
I think the one thing that stuck with me through all of that was on the Fly episode, Eric O'Keefe said something like Joe was going through a 41-minute Shark Tank or something that day, and I was like, just as I heard that, I was like, wow, that's a long time getting hit. And then it's announced that I'm like, oh, maybe that wasn't the most wise. Like, absolutely no idea how this happened, and this is all complete speculation, but I just do think that if there was any sort of sparring going on a week out from a fight, it should have been with Joseph Duffy's number 1 and 2 training partners. And even then, if I remember correctly, Philip Mulpeter had to pull out of a Cage Warriors fight on a couple of days' notice, sustained a freak injury in the gym fight week, wasn't doing any contact, wasn't doing any contact sparring, it was sparring drills, and he ended up getting injured and having to pull out. So accidents do happen. I'm going to say that. It just couldn't have happened at a worse time for Irish MMA fans.
Right, and and the thing is the thing that I really take away from this, it sucks, because I was looking forward to this fight. But the thing to take away is that the UFC really did, as Sean said, they made a pretty ballsy decision here in pulling him from the fight. This close. They could have not told anybody, because look, they've already proven that they don't care about PEDs. I mean, you can do PEDs and they'll let you fight as long as it doesn't get out. The fact that they pulled him out shows that they really do care about the things that we are learning about head injuries. people aren't. The sport is advancing in that area. Although I'm sure you saw there are still people like Ramsey Nijam who goes out there and tweets that he had a concussion the entire time in The Ultimate Fighter and he still fought. Like, Jesus Christ, really? Like that's troubling, that somebody would say that. But, kudos to the UFC. They do a lot of dumb things. This was a good decision that they made.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Should this card be pulled?
No.
Is it the worst card in UFC history?
No, not even close. Dude.
It has to be up there.
Sean, was both of your answers yes, so you wouldn't have to come to Dublin?
Well,
he's trying to get out. He's trying to get out of coming to Dublin, dude.
Hashtag pull the card.
That's exactly. Sean's gonna be outside protesting the card instead of being in on press row.
I have another 24 hours to cancel my hotel, lads. Come on, we can get this done.
You've been looking for a way out since they announced this, dude.
I don't think, all joking aside, Irish fans are going to come out. Although, if you go back to the point that we made, Sean, when this card was announced, that the UFC may be doing a similar thing with what to do when they go into a territory consecutively. We saw it with Sweden, an excellent first card in Sweden, and then really for the Gustafsson Johnson one this year, they had been getting progressively worse up until that point. So maybe this was the UFC when they announced this card and booked it. It was their way of finding out maybe what sort of diluted version of a card they could give to the fans, and it'll still sell out in seconds. This one did work. They had an Irish guy headlining it. I do think, though, maybe after a fight or two falling off the card as this one did, the fans may not buy as quick next year if we're in the 3 arena. If we're in Croke Park, Conor McGregor, if that dream scenario happens, then yeah, instant sellout. But I do think this could be the start and see what level of events Irish MMA fans would accept.
How many people do you think cancel their tickets?
Yeah.
How many what?
How many people do you think they'll cancel their tickets?
I don't know, maybe 500 or 600. That's just, I have no idea. I don't even know why I said 500 or 600.
You're just talking out your ass then, huh?
Yeah, pretty much as usual.
Yeah, making things up.
Did you have anything insightful to add into this conversation actually before we finished it? No?
Actually, yeah, I do. I mean, I always have insightful things to offer, but I do say, I don't know why you're laughing. I do. The thing is, you're right, man. They do, they go into a market, and it's like the greatest card you've ever seen. And then they start testing you and pushing you and saying, hey, you liked watching Conor McGregor fight. How about Joe Duffy? And then, okay, you showed up for Joe Duffy. How about Dong Young Kim? Even though he's not, that's what they do. They start lowering and lowering and lowering the quality until you're just getting pure crap. That's what they do. I wish they didn't do it. But, look, at least they're spacing out the events in Ireland. You could be doing, you could be Brazil at this point, where you have 4 events a year and 3 of them are pure, actually, almost all of them are pure shit at this point. They rarely ever give them good stuff. Putting Rousey down there was an outlier. So, yeah, that's what they do. I don't think that's what they're doing here. I think they tried to put on a good card here. I think they tried to put on the best card they could, given that it had to be a Fight Pass card. And, shit happens. Unfortunately, it happened in Dublin this time.
Sean, one last question for you, and then I'll let you decide if you would like to finish it off or not. I don't know why the screen was on you, sorry. Best case scenario, you know me, you're the negative one out of this handsome duo. So I personally think, let's look at the positives from this. I think this fight this weekend, what we're going to see now is potentially the first, well, not first in a while, it will have been first in a while since then, European title shot. Demetrius Johnson versus Paddy Houlihan will probably headline Dublin next year. Let's assume, I'll give your stint of negativity air for a few minutes, Croke Park never happens, Paddy Houlihan versus Demetrius Johnson will headline the 3 arena next year.
Is that a question, or is it what do you want me to...
That's just mine. What do you think the best possible case scenario for Irish MMA is following this weekend's event? Was that too hard for you?
The best case scenario is that they come to Croke Park in March and we can forget about what happened this weekend, basically.
Yes, I will be there.
Yeah. I don't know. There really isn't any positives to take out of it. Come on.
Look, the fact that they're looking after his health is a positive.
Yeah, that's the positive. Yeah, fair enough.
That's the only positive.
Look, the Siri fight will be very good. That's going to be a really good action fight. The Houlihan fight should be good. The Tilby Doll fight will be good. And yeah, the rest will be happening. So yeah, it's okay. I get to cover my first UFC event anyway, and you might get to meet me and say hello. So look, there's positives to everything.
Unless you fucking back out like you're trying to do already.
Look, they might pull the card yet. Look, there's been talks of it from absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, that's in your head. That's all in your head, Sean.
Yeah,
sorry, dude.
Well, gentlemen, unfortunately, 20 past 12 at night here. I had to come, for those wondering, the delay. Spicy bags. Munchie boxes haven't reached Dundalk yet. I went and got a nice wee spice bag before I even left the bottle of Sidona in the car, Sean, would you believe?
I have a quote, Andrew.
Oh, have you got a quote? Oh, Jeremy, first of all, thank you very much for joining us. Late for us, early enough for you. But please go over and follow him at Jeremy Botter on Twitter. This an extra podcast, so now Sean can take next week off and go drinking for the full week like he was planning. And Sean, I believe you have an inspirational quote to finish off the show.
I do, Andrew. I do.
Is it related to the main event?
It could be. It could be. Here it goes. Stars can't shine without darkness. See you next.